Joining us now, New York Times reporter. And
that's why I was tapping my pen.
Yeah, I saw that tapping. That tapping makes me nervous.
Yeah.
New York Times reporter and MSNBC national security analyst Michael Schmidt. He's the author of Donald Trump v. the United States Inside the Struggle to Stop a President. And his latest piece for NBC Think is an excerpt from his book entitled Comey's October Surprise Shook America 4 years ago today. His wife tried to stop it.
Okay.
She did?
Okay, so,
tell us what happened.
So, Michael, this is not a question that Willie and I usually ask on this show. But why didn't he listen to his wife?
Come on.
Come on, man.
So the night before the decision, Jim Comey comes home from work and he's in the kitchen and he says, "You're never going to believe what I have to do." And Comey's wife immediately recognized the problems with the decision. She could see that this was going to be bad for her husband, and she could see, more importantly, that it was going to be bad for Hillary Clinton. And she argued with her husband, telling him, saying, "This is too close to the election. How can you do this?" And she's pushing back on him and forcing him to try and explain why he believes he needs to do this. And Comey, in a very matter-of-fact way, lays out what he says are two awful options, the speak or conceal. And she's aghast at what she's hearing. She can understand her husband's logic and why he's deciding to do that. And she knows not to invoke Hillary Clinton's name as a way of trying to say, look, you're going to, devastate her candidacy and potentially hurt Donald Trump. But it's this moment. They're peering into the future of American history in a way that no one else in the country knew what was going on. And they're sitting at their kitchen table discussing this, and she's really trying to stress test this decision. And it gets there's a little bit of friction in the room, and he gets a little bit of frustrated with her because he doesn't think that he's really helping her as he confronts what he knows will be one of the biggest decision of his career.
Yeah, Claire McCaskill. We can certainly sympathize with Jim Comey saying, my God, what if I have this information and I don't release it and then it comes out after the election? Then I completely look like I was in the tank for Hillary and was covering up information that could be detrimental not only to her campaign, but to her legal standing. At the same time, I thought the way he released it was so ham-fisted. There had to be a better way to release something like this with 10 days left in the campaign.
Comey delivered the presidency to Donald Trump. And it is ironic that Trump has spent almost 4 years trying to pretend that somehow the FBI and the Department of Justice and the Obama administration was trying to keep him from being president. It is so stupid. Comey delivered the presidency. And by the way, Comey, he's got to go to his grave knowing he elected Donald Trump. And I think he does know he elected Donald Trump. But the other thing is, when you look at the time period, Michael, when you look at the time period that they had this laptop, it went like 30 days. They could have dug in and gotten all the information. And the letter he could have given out 2 weeks before the election could have been the letter that he, in fact, gave out right before the election that cleared her. But instead, they sit on it. I mean, you talk about malpractice. You talk about a problem. That is what this country had happened to it in the election. It wasn't that they were trying to hurt Donald Trump. It was their incompetence elected Donald Trump.
The thing that I think that if Comey were to address this, and he's spoken a fair amount about this, is basically when the decision is presented to him, he believes that this process of having to go back and look at the emails is going to go on for many weeks. It'll be something that maybe even take months to do. And I think that if Comey had known that they were going to be able to go through these emails as quickly as they did, because by the Sunday before the election, they had figured out that there was nothing there, I'm not sure he would have done what he did. But what happens is that they make the announcement, and within a matter of days, by the next week, by the Sunday before the election, they have determined that there is nothing here. There's nothing that changes anything. And they put this second statement out. Just, I believe, on the Sunday before the election, they put this statement out that basically says we haven't found anything. So it looks like to the public that this was an exercise. There was like, well, why did this happen? And obviously there are reasons that were happening, and there's thousands of pages of Justice Department documents that come out afterwards that explain it. But that was the FBI story at the time. And it certainly did cast these questions over Clinton that she had largely put behind her as folks were going to the election. And I think that, for Comey, the ironic thing of the entire thing is that in Donald Trump, Donald Trump does as much damage to the FBI as would have been done had the FBI been accused of covering up for Hillary Clinton. And I think what Comey would say, well, I had two really bad choices in front of me.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.